Morning, everybody. Monday, May the 17th, Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 32. Real quick, I want to go over something I mentioned last week, which was the Bifold Wallet. We did find some material for the interiors, and that's that goat skin that we showed you last week. And so we have cut out a bunch of those. We're going to try to go ahead and put those on the website at some point this week, but we did create a handout. Like I said, if you bought the pattern pack for the Bifold Wallet, if you've done that project and you've bought the pattern pack and been using it, this will just be an accessory resource for you in case you don't want to have to cut out all those pockets in the interiors yourself, or if you just want to try some of this goat skin without having to buy a whole piece for yourself. Again, that stuff is very economical, so you could certainly buy that from Celoy on your own and cut them out by yourself with a knife. But we do have dies for all of those pieces, and so we've already mocked up a few. I made 2 or 3 last week all in total, and the patterns seem to work really well. The main reason for the handout is if you do not have the pattern pack, which some people may not want it. They may draw their own floral patterns and want to go ahead and just design their own stuff, but they want a material pack. If that's the case, I want to ensure that they get the main piece of that pattern pack that helps to install that, because if you watch the video, the interior, like I said, is shorter than the outside body of the wallet. That's what allows it to fold nicely in there on that particular design. So I just wanted to be sure that whoever bought a pattern pack gets at least this schematic, which will show you basically once the interiors are completely put together, you will notch out these 2 notches here in the center. It's not real complicated. I could just put a note in there and tell people to notch out the center. Most people won't know what I'm talking about, so this will just kind of clarify that. It's just a single sheet handout that will go in each shipment that we do, so just so that everybody has them. So if you get it and you don't need it because you already got the pattern pack, just chunk it in the garbage, do whatever you want to, burn a little fire in your shop with it, I don't care. But I just want to be sure that everybody gets that piece, because if you don't cut those out, it's going to look funny when it goes together and it may not sew up quite as well, and you're going to wonder, why is this extra leather there? I don't understand why this is shorter than the other one. So this handout's going to help with that. And so hopefully we'll get those printed off. I've got to send off and get those printed. Speaking of printers, we have found us a printer, I believe. They're working on some quotes right now on doing basically what I want to do is take the patterns that already exist on the wristlet and then create the printed pack versions of those. Once we get those done, as we start doing a few of them, I sent them 2. I think I sent them the wristlet purse and maybe the checkbook cover companion pack. I sent them those 2, and they're supposed to give me a quote on what's going to take to print those off, put them in an envelope with a nice image on the front, that kind of deal, like a traditional pattern pack that you've bought in the past from some other company, Tandy or Weaver or whatever. And once they get that quote back to me, then we're going to go ahead and get some printed off. And so we'll do them probably 2 or 3 at a time. I'll begin to get all the companion packs first. That'll be our first focus, is getting those to where when you go on the website, for new people, if you've already purchased your pattern packs and downloaded them and you may have them in a little binder or something like that, then that's great. But if somebody's at our website and wants to purchase a pattern pack but doesn't want to print it because it's just difficult, or they don't have a printer, or they don't have access to the ability to print these things, then they can click on an option. It will have an option on there where you can do either digital or printed version. I'm imagining the printed versions will be a little higher price point than what they are online, just because of the printing cost. But I don't know for sure what that'll be, if at all. I'll just have to see what it's going to take to get these printed. Obviously, we're going to have costs involved on those, getting those packs printed and then keeping them in stock and all that kind of stuff. So there may be a little bit of a price difference for a printed version, but we will be offering printed versions of the companion packs first. And with that, I am also working on with them, I'll have the ability to go ahead and create the larger patterns like we've been talking about. So the first one that I'm working on, I don't know when it'll be out, but I'm playing with it just because this project's on my mind, and that's this bag. So this is going to be what we've been calling the Pony Express bag. Not sure if that's really what I'd call it anymore. It's more of just a normal, nice Western leather briefcase, softer type briefcase. It's not hard. It's not like made out of skirting leather or anything. And so I've already actually created a pattern for this digitally, and so now we've just got to draw different tooling options and things like that, and I'm finalizing all the deals. Now that'll be I think right now I've got it on like a 3-foot by 4-foot sheet of paper, and so that'll obviously fold up into a nice envelope, so when you buy it you can unfold that and then make your patterns off of that. And I think it's going to work out pretty good. We'll just have to see kind of in the transport from my devices to their devices, make sure it prints out the right size and that kind of thing. But I think it's going to really open up a lot of different projects that we can do, like the rope bag. If you watch the rope bag video, that'll be one of the first pattern packs we'll do on the larger scale, because we've had more requests for rope bag patterns than anything else. We did have somebody ask if there was any way I could draw them a pattern and just email it to them and they could print it out and then tape it together or whatever. No, because it's going to be very complicated. I don't have, if I'm going to create a pattern, I would rather create a pattern that I can then send to the printers, and then that way when it's done, and then I've got an inventory of those. And like all our other things, it'll come with just more than just one tooling pattern. Now those projects are going to be much bigger. I don't know that they'll all be 3 foot by 4 foot sheets of paper. We might knock it down to like, 2 foot by 3 foot or something like that. It just depends on the project that we're building. But one thing it will open up as well is it'll open up our chap pattern design stuff, things like that. So it's really going to make, some of the patterns that we can offer you guys a lot more versatile. Now those all the big ones will only be available in the printed versions. But all our other ones, like I said, the companion packs will give you that option where you can get it digitally. If you're used to getting them and you'd rather get it like instant access, download the file, print it off on your printer, and you're good and happy with that, you'll still be able to do that. But if you would prefer us to mail you a physically printed pack, we're going to begin to offer those options as well. Hopefully this week I'll get some printed up and get some on the website and see how we're going to I've got to figure out how that thing's going to work as far as on in your cart, as far as selecting which one you prefer. But I'm sure we'll figure that out pretty easily. And then while we're on the subject of patterns, the video for our new premium clutch wallet, that's just kind of what I'm calling it, just because it's basically just a clutch wallet, but the interiors I would consider, kind of upscale. They're a little bit more upgraded from the first one that we did. But this one will be out probably tomorrow. We've got the video as already created, edited, and actually already loaded to YouTube. So it's ready to go. I got the pattern pack created yesterday on Sunday. That pattern pack is completely created. I just printed it off to make sure that all the pieces fit and that it's got, that everything's the right size and all of that stuff. So, and this pattern pack will contain 8 floral patterns. So we've got a number of different floral patterns that'll come in with this. Some of them are more intricate and more complicated, and some of them are more larger and bold, so that they're a little bit easier to tool. So if you're wanting kind of either that old school look of the bigger vine work and stuff like that, or if you're kind of new to tooling and you want to kind of tackle something like this before you tackle something that's a little bit more complicated, then you got a little versatility there. But that pattern pack is created, and we just got to get that loaded to the website and create the product page for that, and then also send this copy off to the printer so that they can go ahead and get started on this one as well. But that's the clutch wallet. Yeah, like I said, it is done. We are excited about it. I think you're going to like it. Like I said, if you've done the first clutch wallet, this one's different. The other one's got like a tab that comes down here. It's a little different shape here. The sizing on it may be a little bit different, but you can certainly adapt the patterns that you already have into this one, or vice versa. It'd be a good challenge just to try to adjust those patterns and try to make those work on either one, because you will have to do some vine work addition or subtraction to make those work. But anyway, with this one and the other one, having both of those in your wheelhouse, you'll have 2 options, like I said, because this one's going to be a little bit more. If you were to build this for a customer, I would charge more for one of these than I would the first version. The first version is very simple, not very complicated. Card pockets, it's just the slots there. That's it. It's got one pocket here for a checkbook or whatever. This one's just a little bit more elaborate. It's got a little zipper in there. You got a pocket back here. You've got obviously the T pockets, which is a little more professional credit card designed pockets. So I would kind of charge a little bit more for that, especially if you do it out of Kangaroo. We will also work on getting dies made for this one, because I really, really like this one. I probably won't make any of the other one anymore. This will probably be the only one I make going forward, unless I design another one that's better. And so I think it's just a lot more professional. But I'm going to go ahead and get dies made for this one, probably for the other one as well as we go along. But dies are expensive, and so it takes time to just kind of get geared up and get some sent off, get some made. We just kind of do it as we can. we're about to send them some more patterns this week so that we can get some more dies made. But that's the clutch wallet. It'll be out. Like I said, it's already up on YouTube. It's just unlisted, so you can't see it yet. But as soon as I get that product page added in sometime today, I've got some stuff I've got to get done. So as soon as I can get to the computer and get that product page created, we'll get that loaded to YouTube, and that way you can watch that project video. It's a pretty good video. I think it turned out good. I think it shows you some new stuff as far as putting these interiors together, and kind of focuses on the T-pockets and shows you how I do those, which I think is the most value in that video is doing that, because you can take that T-pocket system and you can really extrapolate that out on a bunch of other different projects as well. If you wanted to do a roper wallet or even a regular bifold wallet or something like that, you can really kind of design your own T-pockets and make them work. Things I've been working on as far as the bag, like I mentioned just a minute ago, you can see here we've gotten all the tooled pieces sewn on. This back flap, I've got it glued in place. It's not sewn in place. It'll sew when we sew the gusset in, but that's on there. And then we've got the both front panel and center panel cut and lined and edged and all that. We are filming everything that we're doing on this bag, so we will be making a project video for that, and hopefully a pattern pack will come out with that as well. But I think it's going to be a neat bag. The only thing I've got to do now that I've got all the panels created, is I've got to figure out the gusset. That'll be a lot of value in the pattern pack, because I'll actually have the gusset already figured out measurement wise and everything else for you, because that's going to take me some time to just, anytime you do a new gusset, it's just time consuming trying to get everything to fit. And once I get it all fit and I know it works, then it'll be glued on, and we'll pull it off and we'll trace it off and we'll have a pattern. And so then the next time I want to make this bag, I won't have to do all that. Or the next time you want to make the bag, if you get the pattern pack, you can make one as well. We had a lot going on last week, as I told you in the Monday morning video from last Monday. So we got a lot of the work done. We made a lot of progress on the saddles and everything, and different custom projects. We've got a bunch that we've got to get started this week that are some custom jobs belts and some smaller items. But last week we also had the local 4-H club come in. They wanted to tour the saddle shop. I think it was their last meeting, so they wanted to take their club and bring the kids over and show them the saddle shop, do a little tour, and then we did a little tooling demonstration for them. That's always fun, because it's surprising. Some kids and some people are very familiar with leatherwork, have seen it, their grandpa did it, their dad did it, they did it at some point. Everybody's, some people have been exposed to leatherwork, and then there's a lot of people that have never been exposed to leatherwork at all. They may have leather boots, leather jackets, leather saddles that they're riding, whatever, but may have never seen it actually done. And so that's always kind of fun, is when you get somebody in here that's never seen that before at all, and they just think you're a wizard or something. But it's like, it's just any other art form. You just got to learn the tools, and you got to learn what you're doing. That's why you're here, because you want to learn leatherwork. You want to learn how to do the carving, how to do, the stamping, cutting, all that stuff. It's just a very odd material that most people aren't really exposed to a lot, too much anymore. I meet a lot of people that are, say, in their late 40s, early 50s, maybe in their 60s, that say, man, we used to do that in art class in high school, or shop class, or we did leatherwork in, the Boy Scouts. I think the Boy Scouts still do leatherwork, did leatherwork here or there or whatever. And a lot of the young kids coming up now, they're not really exposed to that. They're not exposed to, their art class is usually just drawing and painting, and there's really nothing outside of that, maybe some pottery or something. And so it was neat to have them in here. I think they really enjoyed it, I think they thought it was pretty neat. I told them when they came in here, like I tell everybody that comes in here, everything in this shop is made to cut skin, and it doesn't care if it's yours or not. So basically trying to tell them, keep your hands to yourself, because there's a lot of benchtop machines over here. I don't even remember how many kids were in here, but there was, between parents and kids, there was a whole pile of people in here, and it was kind of, everybody's huddled over watching me tool over here, and I didn't want somebody not paying attention and one kid run their hand through one of these machines or something. That'd be horrible. So, but they did good. I think they enjoyed it, and so we did that. And then the kids had a field day last week as well. It's getting down to the end of the school year. Their graduation is this week my little girl's graduation from kindergarten. And so that'll be this week, and they'll be out of school for the summer. And so they'll be in the shop a lot more, be hanging out. Hopefully I can get some free labor out of them. Maybe put them to work washing saddles, doing that kind of thing, sweeping up, cleaning up, organizing. I could really use the help for that. But let me grab a cup of coffee. I'm going to show you what we did on the saddles. Alright, so as far as the repair saddles, we did give this one here. This is the one we put the padded seat in, the the black padded seat in there. We did get the binder sewn on last week, got it all oiled. I think I put 2 coats on there, 2 or 3 coats. And so now we got the housings fit. They've been drying all weekend, so we'll get these trimmed and fit to match on this saddle. And got the fenders put together, fenders and stirrup leathers, so it's getting new fenders and stirrup leathers as well. And then I think we're doing some rig catchers and billets and stuff like that. So we'll get all those worked out, and hopefully we can get this out of here this week. This was another one, almost the exact same saddle from around the same time period, and we went through and cleaned it. This one was in a lot better condition than this one was, as far as just simple maintenance and things like that. We are going to put new stirrup leathers in it, so I went ahead and removed those and got those washed, housings washed. This saddle's been drying for 3 days or so, and so we'll start putting oil on it today and get some stirrup leathers cut and get it rolling to get it back to its owner so it can go back to work. And we did take in a couple other repairs this week too that we've got to get back here and get washed. As far as our ranch saddle, we got the skirts, we got our rigging plates put in, breast collar D, we got our housings fit and made. All we did was just a nice little double bead borderline around these. We're doing everything slick on this saddle except for the cantelback and the seat. I think that's going to be kind of a neat look. We'll do a slick binder on there, slick fenders. I'm going to do a little bit of buck stitching on the binder as well, just to kind of accent this buck stitching on the front. But all this, the skirts are actually installed, the riggings are sewn, everything's ready to go. So that allowed us to get our housings fit, and we'll get those braided together today and dyed and everything and put those in place, and then we'll be ready to fit our seat. And this saddle should be rolling pretty quick. I've got a flank girt and some other things we've got to get made for it, all the rig catchers and everything. We'll get those worked on this week as well. And then I've got both fenders all put together, or cut out and edged and slicked, and the line put in there and maker stamp and stuff. And so we'll just have to put some edge down on those and put the stirrup leathers in there. And we're doing 2.5 stirrup leathers on these. I like doing that on my cowboy saddles just because a lot of these guys are riding colts and also working on training horses as they're working and stuff, and so they like a lot of leg movement there in their fenders and stirrup leathers. And so we try to use, usually for those guys up there, these customers of mine for a long time, that's just what they prefer. So we go ahead and do 2.5s on those. As far as the yoke tote this week, I didn't get anything done on it. I do have the top actually cut and fit and everything, but I ended up not filming that. I was trying to figure it out, like how everything fit in there, and I actually forgot to film that part. So I might have to, I got it cut and prepped over here. I might go ahead and cut a new piece just for the video, so we'll have it in there so you can kind of see what we did. But I think the way it's going to install is going to be pretty neat. You'll see that in the final video, and hopefully next week maybe I can have it already in there and maybe have handles done. I don't know if I can get all that done this week with graduation and things going on, but we'll see how far I can make it on the yoke tote. It's not a priority today, so our saddles are, and other repairs and things we got going on, so we'll get that stuff done. So if you've been listening to The Lost Trade, last week's episode was Jeremiah Watt, and I really enjoyed that interview. That guy, I talked to him. I called Jeremiah years and years ago. I had the idea that I wanted to build my own trees. It's still kind of a concept in my mind that I think at some point I'm probably going to have to tackle that, just out of a personal need. I just think I need to try to do that at some point. But I had called him, and we had a funny conversation, and he basically tried to talk me out of it. But very nice man. This was probably 4 or 5 years into my career, and so he didn't know who I was, and I felt like he would probably tell me to get lost or something. But he was very open, very nice. He visited with me for probably a good 30-45 minutes on the phone. Years later, I ended up meeting him in person at the WRCA finals in Amarillo and stuff like that. So I think he's a really nice guy. I enjoyed the interview with him. He's kind of a hoot. So if you haven't heard that episode, you might want to go back and listen to that. There's some pretty funny moments in there, just hearing about his life and his stories and kind of where he went and how he got to California from Canada, and just, I don't know, he just got some really funny stories, really neat guy. But check that episode out. You can check it out on Apple or Spotify as usual, or you can go to our website and just click Lost Trade Podcast and you can listen to them all there. And I think you're really going to enjoy this week's episode. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. It was really enlightening. The guy is really, really cool. He's from across the pond, so let you kind of chew on that and see if you can guess who that might be. But that'll be coming out this week, so be sure, if you haven't already on the podcast player of your choice, be sure and subscribe to the podcast Lost Trade so that you don't miss an episode. And also be sure to go to our website and sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter. We got a lot of good emails and a lot of good feedback on how People are enjoying the newsletter and kind of us announcing new stuff on there. As far as product refills and stuff like that. So we've got another shipment of leather that should be here pretty soon, hopefully, and we'll get those belt blanks cut again and get those restocked. Otherwise, this week, be on the lookout on our website for new items that we will be stocking. We've got some new stuff that we're going to put on there, and I've got some project videos that I'm working on and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to get back at it, get back to work. Hope y'all have a great week. Thank y'all for watching, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week in the Monday morning briefing.